What's going on, folks? Welcome back to another edition of Gen Sports Corner. Back at you. Happy Monday. We are here for the week of 3/14/2022. Before we get into the video, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell so you're updated anytime I drop a new video. Let's hop right into this thing and look at the Eagles' free agency moves and news and notes for this offseason. And first on the list is the QB signings and the trades that have happened and the impact that it's having on the Eagles' moves this offseason. So, a couple teams have made offers for Deshaun Watson in the wake of the Russell Wilson trade, the Aaron Rodgers signing, and then we also have another signing I'm going to go into very briefly. A couple of teams, as per Bleeding Green Nation, have been in on the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. A report coming from Tom Pelissero saying that the Saints and the Panthers have made offers for Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson and they're likely to meet with him soon. Sources were telling Tom Pelissero. Other teams are also involved. Watson has a no trade clause and wants to meet with teams before formally waiving it anywhere. This is via Tom Pelissero and Ian Rappaport. Now, I mentioned in my previous video that the Eagles were doing their due diligence on Deshaun Watson. There was a lot of talk and conjecture surrounding this issue, and they've been talking up Jalen Hurts. But make no mistake about it, if they have an opportunity to get a guy who's a generational talent, I do believe that the Eagles would be very likely to pull the trigger on that one. In addition to that, Peter Lockenfora reported over the weekend that if the Colts are unable to land Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins or another proven starter, they might be interested in the mustache, the Maverick, Gardner Minshew, who was Jalen Hurts' backup last year, who played very good in spot duty when Jalen Hurts was out with his ankle injury. So, Lockenfora notes to a name to watch in the trade if the Colts can't land Kirk Cousins or another proven starter is Gardner Minshew. And this weekend, just yesterday, on the 13th, Kirk Cousins signed a 1-year, $35 million extension, so he is off the market. So where there's smoke, there's fire. Be on the lookout for Gardner Minshew to possibly be on the move to a team like the Colts in the very near future. Something to watch out for. Gardner Minshew started 2 games last year. He was 20 for 25, 242 yards, and 2 touchdowns in that win over the Jets last year. He looked very sharp, very good. Had a 104.8 passer rating, the second highest in franchise history, with a minimum of 50 attempts behind Nick Foles' 119.2 passer rating in 2013. So he's on the last year of his 4-year rookie deal where he's due $2.54 million this year, and he would be a free agent after this 2022 season. This is a very good spot in terms of making him trade bait for teams because they get 1 more year on his rookie deal, and then they can work out a new contract for him if he plays up to the standards that they're looking for. So it would be crazy to see the Colts make yet another trade for an Eagles quarterback after the Carson Wentz trade, in which they just dealt Carson Wentz to the Washington Commanders. So for them to give up more draft capital for another Eagles quarterback would just be bizarre to me, but hey, stranger things have happened in the NFL. Moving on, let's look at what some of the other spots that the Eagles need to fill are and some of the other moves that they might make. So there are rumors that the Eagles are eyeing Chandler Jones. They need to fill that pass rushing spot opposite of Brandon Graham. They're most likely going to let Derek Barnett go, and they're going to be looking to fill that defensive end position. You have Josh Sweat, you have Brandon Graham coming off of that injury, but they need to add depth. There were a lot of rumors of Fletcher Cox being on the move last year, and he almost got traded right before the trade deadline. And there's some news that a lot of teams are interested in the former Pro Bowl defensive tackle in Fletcher Cox. So, Fletcher Cox, his cap hit for this year would be about $14.9 million. So you better believe that they're looking to move that salary and move on from him. So we'll see what comes up in the next coming weeks and whatnot going to the draft. Don't be surprised if you see Fletcher Cox on the move. Chandler Jones, 32 years old, but even at this age, he's one of the premier pass rushers in the league. And the word on the street is that he's looking for around $15 to $20 million a year. Now you look at a couple suitors for Fletcher Cox. According to Jordan Schultz, a couple AFC teams were in the mix, and he said that the Eagles were receiving lots of interest for Fletcher Cox, and some sources say the Bills, the Steelers, and the Chargers were all interested, but the Cardinals aren't due to a lack of money. Trading Cox would mean a $40 million dead cap charge for Philly, so the return would have to be substantial, as per Jordan Schultz, March 12, 2022. Now, Fletcher Cox's dead money hit would be closer to $25 million, not $40 million, as was stated above. So it would still make sense for the Eagles to make that move. So keep an eye on that. And Jordan Schultz also reported that the Eagles and the Bills were in on Chandler Jones, who continues to be one of the premier pass rushers in the league. He's racked up around 72 and a half sacks during the past 5 years, from 2015 to 2019. So, hey, look that. Look for that. Keep your eye on that. Now, you have to look at the Eagles' cap space, where they have about $17.2 million in cap space to spend right now. Will they be making moves to clear up cap space? We don't know. But they're not really top heavy in terms of how much salary they have locked up. You know, Brandon Brooks, he might be gone. He has a $7 million cap hit, but none of that salary is guaranteed. And if they were to cut him right now, they would take a $15 million hit in dead money. But after the June 1st deadline, they will only be taking a they would get a cap saving pre June 1st. They would get a cap savings of $8.6 million, and they would have $15 million in dead money. But they would probably reduce the amount of dead money that they would have on his contract after June 1st. So keep an eye on that June 1st deadline. Some guys could be going. Andre Dillard most likely would be. I don't know what's going to happen with him. He might be on the trade market as well. He has a $3.9 million cap hit and $2.1 million of that guaranteed. So keep an eye on him. Jason Kelce is coming back. Had an epic post on social media stating that he will be back. So that gives us a little bit of flexibility going into the draft and one less hole to try to have to fill. Now, another spot that the Eagles are looking at is wide receiver. And they've been in the market for a veteran wide receiver, is no secret. But what was surprising to me is there was a report by Jay Glazer that said that the Eagles and the Falcons almost had a deal done for one Mr. Calvin Ridley, but the Falcons had to back away from it when they knew that punishment was coming for Ridley for betting on his team. You know, gambling on his team and betting on his team during the time when he was injured. So, Jay Glazer reports on March 10th, yep, Eagles almost had a deal done for Calvin Ridley last month. Falcons backed out when they weren't able to tell the Eagles why. They actually handled it great, and after a lot of confusion, Philly respected them for how they handled a very different situation. The Eagles swung away. So you know that even though they didn't get Calvin Ridley, it lets you know that the Eagles are very serious about getting a veteran wide receiver. And another one that is on their radar is Juju Smith-Schuster from the Steelers. They tried. It seems as though they had interest in Juju in previous years. In 2017, this is according to Adam Schefter, the Eagles told Wentz to study in 2017 8 receivers, and one of them was Juju Smith-Schuster. So there's been some thought that they have been interested in Juju Smith-Schuster for a minute now. So he's going to draw some interest on the open market. Now, he turned down more money from Philly to play in Pittsburgh the last time he was on the market. And last time he was on the market, he ended up signing a 1-year contract worth $8 million to return to Pittsburgh. Now he's coming off an injury where he had the shoulder problems. In 2021, he had 28 targets, 15 receptions, only 8.6 yards a catch, but that was with Ben Roethlisberger throwing to him, and we know Ben was at the end of the road there. So I still think Juju is a great veteran, will be a good pickup. You have to worry about some of the antics that come along with it, but we can get to that. If he comes to Philly, we can cross that bridge when we get there. So that's some of the things to look out for. Some of the players that may be on the Eagles' radar, the quarterback situation, uh, the pass rushing options, some of the trades that could happen. Right, so keep that in mind. Some of the big moves have happened. Russell Wilson was on the move. Kirk Cousins re-signed to stay in Minnesota, which was surprising to me. Carson Wentz on the move to the Commanders from the Colts. Khalil Mack, big move, big trade from the Bears to the Chargers. Amari Cooper, the big trade from the Cowboys to the Browns, which saves them $16 million in cap space. So look for the Cowboys to try to make some moves this offseason as well. And then Tom Brady returning for his 23rd season in Tampa Bay. So a lot of really ground shaking moves in the NFL in terms of free agency just in the past week. It's been actually one of the more active off seasons that I can think of in a long time. So that's it for now. Leave your questions, comments, concerns in the comment section below. I will be back at you to talk Sixers later on in the week, and catch you on the next episode. Peace.